Daily hearing aid listening checks are important and help you know that your child's hearing aids are working well and providing clear, amplified sounds. Because your child is learning and developing speech and language, it is critical to identify and address problems quickly so that your child does not experience time without appropriate access to sounds. Hearing aids are electronic devices and they will malfunction. For this reason, you need to check your child's hearing aids every morning before you put the hearing aids on for the day. Teachers, early interventionists, speech-language pathologists all need to check the hearing aids at the beginning of the school day as well, before speech and language therapy appointments, and any time throughout the day if there are concerns. To summarize, your child's hearing aids should be checked every morning before class, before speech and language therapy, and any time throughout the day that a concern comes up. In order to check your child's hearing aids, you first need to know what the different parts of the hearing aid are called and what they look like. Most children will wear behind-the-ear hearing aids. The hearing aids will have a battery compartment, volume control and program button, although for very young children the controls are usually disabled, and there is a tone hook that rests on the top of your child's ear. The tone hook is connected to the ear mold by the ear mold tubing. There are usually some differences in the hearing loss for each ear, in some cases more than others. The hearing aids are programmed specifically for each ear and cannot be switched. If the hearing aid is not on the correct ear, the amplified sound may be either too loud, and this can hurt the ear, or it can be too soft and your child will not hear well. It is important to know how to tell which hearing aid is for the right ear and which hearing aid is for the left ear. It can be helpful to mark the hearing aids with a sticker or a colored dot. Typically, we use a red sticker or mark on the right hearing aid and a blue one on the left. It is also important to know how to tell the right ear mold from the left. The ear mold typically is made to fill the bowl-shaped part of the ear and extends into the ear canal. The rounded edge goes towards the back of the ear, and the tube goes up to connect to the hearing aid tone hook. A hearing aid care kit has all of the tools you need to properly care for your child's hearing aids. If you did not receive a hearing aid care kit when your child was fit with hearing aids, ask your audiologist to order one for you. The teacher, early interventionist, and speech-language pathologist need to have their own hearing aid care kits as well. The care kit has a listening stethoscope so that you can listen to how the hearing aid sounds. You need to learn how your child's hearing aids should sound when they work well, so that you have a way to gauge when something is wrong. The care kit will also have a battery tester. Hearing aid batteries can become weak or dead fairly quickly and should be checked if you're concerned. The care kit will also have what's called a dry aid kit. Moisture can build up inside the hearing aid from typical use, and moisture can damage internal components of the hearing aid. The dry aid kit is designed to draw moisture out of the hearing aid. The hearing aid can be placed in the container overnight with the battery removed. When the crystals in the dry aid kit change color, that means they can no longer absorb moisture and they need to be replaced. There are different types of dry aid kits, so follow the instructions on your kit or ask your audiologist. Hearing aid clips connect to the hearing aid and then clip onto the back of your child's shirt. This is helpful to reduce the chance of losing the hearing aids if your child removes them. The wire loop can be used to clean wax or debris out of the ear mold opening. There is also a brush that can be used to clean off the ear mold and hearing aid if needed. The first step in the daily check is to look at the physical condition of your child's devices. Before you listen to the hearing aid, you need to look at the hearing aids, ear molds, and tubing to check for any damage, such as cracks in the tubing or ear mold that could allow amplified sound to leak out and cause feedback. Once you have checked the physical condition, then you can listen to the hearing aids using the listening stethoscope. Place the bulb-shaped end into your ear canal, and the flared or belt-shaped end connects to the ear mold. It needs to fit snugly around the ear mold because if amplified sound leaks out, you will hear feedback and it will be hard to tell if the hearing aid is working properly. Feedback is a whistling sound, and it happens when amplified sound is picked up by the hearing aid microphone. Hearing aids can become weak for different reasons, and you can often detect a difference in how loud the hearing aid sounds when you listen to it. You also want to listen for any distortion or static type sounds. Be aware of other sounds in your environment when you are listening to the hearing aid so that you can tell the difference between amplified sounds in your environment versus a distortion from the hearing aid. The hearing aids should provide a consistent amplified sound. It should not be intermittent. There are several steps you can take to troubleshoot problems if the hearing aids are not working properly. If the hearing aid sounds weak or is not amplifying at all, first check the battery. If the battery is okay, then look at the ear mold opening where the sound leaves the ear mold to enter the ear canal, and check to see if there is wax buildup in the opening. Wax can block the passage and can cause the hearing aid to sound weak. If you see wax, clean it with a wire loop. If there is no blockage in the ear mold, look at the microphone opening and see if there is any visible debris blocking sound from entering the hearing aid. If it looks dirty, carefully brush the opening with the hearing aid brush. Some hearing aids have microphone covers that need to be replaced periodically. Ask your audiologist if there are any maintenance steps you need to take for your child's hearing aids. The tone hook often has a filter in it, and the filter can become blocked with moisture. If the hearing aid still sounds weak, remove the tone hook while the hearing aid is turned on and listen to see if the feedback is louder after you remove the tone hook. It's helpful to have a few spare tone hooks on hand because they will need to be changed periodically. Ask your audiologist how to change the tone hooks on your child's hearing aids. If the hearing aid sounds distorted and has a static type sound, check the battery and the battery contacts. Battery contacts can become dirty and that will interfere with how the battery works. You can clean the battery contacts by putting a little contact cleaner on the end of a pipe cleaner and rubbing the pipe cleaner on the battery contacts. Also check for wax blockage in the ear mold and debris on the microphone opening. You can also look and check the ear mold opening and see if there is wax blockage that needs to be cleaned. Sometimes internal components can get jarred and feedback can come from a malfunction inside the hearing aid. To check for internal feedback, turn the hearing aid on and cover the ear mold opening with your finger. If you still hear feedback, remove the ear mold from the tone hook and cover the tone hook opening with your finger. If the feedback goes away, the cause may be a crack in the ear mold or tubing. If the feedback continues, remove the tone hook and cover the hearing aid opening with your finger. If the feedback goes away, there may be a crack in the tone hook. If the feedback continues, it is internal feedback and the hearing aid will need to be sent in for repair. Each time you take a troubleshooting step, for example, you clean the ear mold opening, do a listening check of the hearing aid again and see if what you did made a difference in how the hearing aid sounds. If the hearing aids are feeding back when your child has them on, it is important to check that the ear mold is inserted completely in the ear. If the ear mold is not seated snugly in the ear, amplified sound can leak out and cause the hearing aid to make a whistling sound. Young children grow quickly. The ear molds need to fit snugly in the ear for your child to have appropriate access to sounds. As your child grows, the ear mold will become loose. As you put the ear mold in your child's ear, notice how snug the fit is, and you will be able to tell over time when the fit becomes loose. You will also begin to see a gap between the back of the ear mold and your child's ear. In addition to checking the physical condition of the hearing aids and listening to the sound quality, you will want to check how the child is hearing with the hearing aids by doing a Ling test with the child. The Ling test helps us to make sure that the child can hear all of the sounds of speech. There are 6 Ling sounds: a, e, u, s, and sh. It is also a good idea to have a 7th nothing sound to ensure that the child is not just guessing during soft sounds. To establish consistent results with the Ling sound test, it is a good idea for the teacher to teach the child an object that goes with each of the sounds. We call this a sound-object association. It helps to teach this through objects or pictures that go with each sound. Typically, the M sound is associated with a food item, like ice cream, for example. A with an airplane. U could be a ghost. E could be a mouse. S could be a snake. And sh could be a baby. Having these objects makes this a fun and entertaining task for the young child. The parent or teacher will teach the child to point to or pick up the item when they hear the sound. With older children, you can just have them repeat the sound. You may want to have another adult with you when you are saying the sound so that they can model the activity to the child until they get used to it. Watch this video clip of a demonstration of teaching a child how to do the Ling 6 sounds test.
Ready? Okay. You're right. When we eat cake, we said, Okay, you ready? Okay, listen. Shh. You're right. The baby says shh, or we say shh to the baby. Okay. Listen.
To make sure that the child is listening to the sounds and not just reading your lips, it is important to produce these sounds behind a speech screen. A speech screen or hoop is acoustically invisible. That means that the sound that is transmitted is not blocked or altered like it would be if you used your hand or a piece of paper. It is possible to buy assembled speech screens or hoops, or to create them yourself with speaker material and sewing hoops. It is important for the child to hear all of the sounds. If they do not hear one or more of the sounds, contact the audiologist.
E.
E.
S. Good. Ooh.
Ooh.
Good job, you did it.
When you identify a problem with how your child's hearing aid is working and the troubleshooting steps do not make a difference, call your audiologist right away. Your audiologist may be able to fix the hearing aid or may need to send it out for repair. If the hearing aid needs to be sent out, ask your audiologist for a loaner hearing aid so that your child does not go without sound while the hearing aid is being repaired.